I think it's the 29th. My day has been a day of mechanical failures, so I'm not in the best of moods. Filming for the principle of it, and basically to keep myself from getting any more grumpy about it. The drones have been less than cooperative this morning, so we're not even going to waste time on that. And this camera has a little piece rattling inside it now, so I assume this is working. I don't know. Since last weekend we had issues with the camera, this camera, I've done a firmware upgrade in hopes that'll work. If not, I am probably just going to throw up my hands and reconsider how I do this, because too much technology and it just doesn't work. So maybe it's a back to moments epiphany kind of thing. I don't know. Pardon me, I'm going to test this just to see if it's actually working. It appears to be, even though something's rattling. Don't know what that's about. But so we're back at the plateau, kind of just a follow-up to get a little bit more of a bearing on this, and then we'll I think next week we're going to plan a return to Vermont. At least so far that's the plan. See how that works out. We went down that way last week. This week we're going to see how far this end goes. And the other one seemed to, that the way I just went seems to, I could be wrong, but it seems kind of, you go for, I don't know if it was a full mile, but kind of dead-ended, or you had so much down tree debris stuff in the way that it looked that way. Today we'll go down this way partially to see how far it goes, but also to see if there's any other side trails. I'm kind of getting the impression there's a entire trail system in here that I've never actually been down before, because when you drive by this on the road, it just looks like a little dirt road thing. Then I walk in one day and there's a whole gate in there, and there's a trail system, lo and behold. So we'll do this, and then I may be a glutton for punishment and try to freaking see how I do with the Spark one more time. And that's the aggravation of that. I brought all 3 drones. I didn't bother with the cheaper one, but the Spark had some issue with the firmware not reading the distance right. So I brought it back down, and then the Mini has this thing with the phone where the phone doesn't always connect, and sometimes you have to reboot it, and then I noticed that the controller only had 1 bar out of 4. The last thing you want to do is have the thing run out of juice when you have the drone in the air, because there's not really any way to bring it down then. So that part's on me. I charged everything but the remote for the Mini, but I may try the Spark one more time just to break even on this, but that's why I'm in kind of a foul mood. Kind of kicking myself, wondering if I become too highly dependent on tech, and lost focus on the more tedious part of this, which is what I used to enjoy more. Who knew this video would turn into a confessional? But so far the firmware upgrade seems to be working though, even if there's a rattly thing in here. So I guess the question begs itself, if this camera did get broken, would I get another one? It has worked pretty well, so I probably would. I've seen comparisons between this Rimovu K1 gimbal camera and its main competition, which is a DJI Osmo Pocket. I don't really see any advantage in the feature set of the Osmo Pocket that justifies paying $100 more for that one over this one. This one's bigger and more sturdy, has a 2-hour battery life, actually like 2 hours and change, which beats either of my GoPros. So the other thing with the Mini that I'm holding off on to, I noticed that there's another firmware upgrade that I didn't do last night, so that leads to flying personality. And personality is not meant to be a good thing. So, but the thing where it doesn't connect with the phone, I'm finding very aggravating. Because if it's the only drone you bring in, you got 3 charged batteries, you technically have 90 minutes of battery life, but then the phone won't connect. And you're sitting there kicking yourself. If there's one flaw to the Mini, since I'm reviewing equipment that I have, it would be that you get 3 batteries and 90 minutes of battery life, but that's literally all the battery life that the remote control has, is 90 minutes. So, confessional and tech review, and a bumblebee looking for flowers to pollinate. So this does go for a ways. My major curiosity though is, are there any other side trails? Because if there are, then I have more time to spend in here. This is an entirely different section of a series of contiguous forests along the southern Berkshires that, and this little stretch is fairly new to me. So we'll spend some time in here, and once in 2 days turkey season is over, I'll start getting more active with trail cams and the like, and maybe put them in the mix, because then I can go to Vermont more and have a passive presence here where I'm at least recording the wildlife or something. And I know somebody wants to go into the comments and say you'll never catch Bigfoot on a trail cam. And a negative doesn't prove a positive. And what I mean by that is, just because no one ever has doesn't mean that no one ever will. So, I mean, the thing is, trail cams are not nearly as stealthy as you think they are. Everyday run-of-the-mill animals, I've come to realize, are perfectly aware of them. They note the difference. They will avoid them. I think a couple of videos back, I have a clip of a coyote that came up on one in the high meadow, and he immediately bailed. Kind of giving some life to that theory. It's a pity I didn't have some out when I came across that deer kill, because watching the feeding frenzy on the camera would have been interesting. Or would it even have occurred if the camera was there? Because if they got camera shy, who knows? Anyway, I guess that's all this film is going to, or this video is going to be about. But that's all right. My mood isn't really that great, so we'll make of the day what it is at this point, and probably just go home and stew about the failure of it. I want to know what's up with the Spark not measuring vertical distance right. It was jumping back, and it was up about 270 feet, and then it would drop in the settings, not physically down to, like, it would read like being at like 5 feet in the air, and like, no. So that was concerning. And I checked that one. That one does not have an update, so it's not like it's a firmware update need, as is the case possible. The Mini never got in the air. I don't know how it would have flown rather. But this is probably just going to be a short rambling video of me just talking about equipment and failures, and because that's what's on my mind irritatingly, unless I find a side trail and get interested in that. So far it's just this one though, and the other one that kind of goes out. It's like a big Y almost, Y-shaped pattern. But so in terms of what's going on in the Bigfoot community online, I don't know, more of the same. You can tell I'm not in the mood to really delve into that right now. So I'm going to explore a little further. I'm going to take a break at this point because there's only so much I can harp on. And we'll pick it up if something interesting happens, but it doesn't seem to be that kind of day. Okay, so we said we'd come back if we found something interesting. So here we have a mud flat. And just in this little stretch, if I can find it again. Hold on. I took pictures if I didn't. You have literally within a couple of feet of each other, you've got a bear track, if I can find the thing again. And there's a moose track. If that's getting, hold on. Am I getting that? I have, like I said, I have pictures. Moose track and the bear track is right there. If I'm getting that. You got a bear track right. And the funny thing is they're like literally within like 2 feet of each other. So we've kind of come to a different stretch of the woods here. And I guess I'm getting a second wind because I found something kind of cool. It is muddy in here, and I'm looking for other tracks now that I'm here, because apparently this is like a little bit of a wildlife highway through here. And the bear would not have been a very big one based on the track size. But, and I apologize for the rattling, that's my bear mace canister. The moose, it's a moose, it's big. But what else we got back here? Other hikers have come through here. But I am wondering how far we're going to go before we dead end on this trail, because it does. I actually had to go off trail a few times to get around down trees and things. But we still have something of a trail. This is more of a quadder trail at this point. But we'll see where this takes us. Yeah, I guess I'll try the Spark one more time just to see if I actually have an issue with the sensors on the thing. Which would suck, because that's the second one that would be down to this point that I can't trust in flight. Any more than the Mini, because the Mini doesn't always want to connect. It flies great when it does, but then you have this little OTG cable where the other two rely on Wi-Fi. It's a lot more. It has limits, but it's more reliable. Because the phone, for some reason, doesn't always want to connect to the thing. I don't know if that's directly in connection with the firmware update, but I guess I have to be more diligent with that. I'll try that when I get home. I just get aggravated when I bring it out to the woods, and then you'll try it when you get back home, and then it works again. You know, you're like, I've got enough video of my own immediate neighborhood. I wanted to get some scenery out there, but you didn't want to play out there. Very annoying. This is a new stretch I haven't been in. A lot of eye poker related stuff. Very similar to where I had the sighting in Vermont. Not that I'm implying anything here, but I don't know. Sometimes the day just doesn't take the form you think it is. So and we're getting into this thinner path. You can see where the whole nature of the woods changes here. and goes into this thicker stuff. But if we're getting into more undergrowthy stuff, I'm gonna probably call it at that point if I have to duck through overhanging vegetation and worry about tick-related nonsense. Because if this ends up where I think it is, years ago I was in this stretch coming in from a different angle, and there are a lot of ticks in the undergrowth in here, if that's what this is. And it's becoming exactly kind of what I don't want it to be. More undergrowth. So I may call it here. Yeah. Let's see. It actually opens up a little bit. We'll go around this pine tree and see if it opens up more. Gotta get our bearings. But it seems like it wants to end here, maybe. Yeah, we're near the road now. Pretty sure I know where that comes out. I think it's going to come out exactly where I think it is. Let's take a look. But the fact you got more gravelly stuff going on, it does. Can I see the road? All right, so I'm going to take a break again. Didn't foresee a layout. That's exactly that Jersey barrier. We're at the end, and that comes out exactly. Okay, I know exactly where this is now. All right, so we're good. I'm going to definitely take a break, and we'll, should we run across anything interesting on the way back, we will do that. If I were to get hopelessly lost, I could pop out on the road here and walk down the road back to the car, but what fun is that? So we're going to make our way back now.